Welcome back, guys, and this is our sixth tutorial in designing our own website, personal website. In this tutorial we're going to talk about, if you remember from our previous tutorials, guys, I have it up here, is we stop when we put the avatar. So in this tutorial we're going to put our information next to the profile picture. So here we're going to have our first name, last name, and additional information that you guys would like to put there. Alright, to get started with this tutorial, let's go ahead and get started here to waste no more time. Within the My Info section here, I'm going to define another section and give it an ID. And what ID? Let's say it's going to call it Info for information, and I'm going to div here to close it. Alright, so now here let's go ahead and within this div gonna have a form. Alright, so in the form here I'm gonna have first name, I'm gonna have, we don't need those there, I'm gonna type input in the input closing tag. In the input here I'm gonna have I'm gonna type type, I'm gonna set that equal to text, and also give it a name. This is the name basically, so we can refer to this field. I'm gonna call it fname for first name. Now if we go ahead and run this here, just so you guys can see what happened, what we've changed up to now, you will see a field up here, but we want to basically space it a little bit to our right, move it to the right more. To do that, let's go in our style sheet, pound info. Okay, what are we doing here by calling info? So info is our section here which our form is within, so I'm calling that section, and what I want to do here is I want to position it relative, so this will be positioned relative and then we also want to float left and padding, so we want to pad it 0 up and down and 10 pixels right and left. Alright, so let's explain here what will happen. So let's go on our page here. Before we actually refresh to the changes, we set this the position relative. Remember, there's another div which our picture, profile picture here in our form would be within, and then within the bigger div here, which is 1080p, which is the same size as our navigation menu. There are two more divs. One is the profile div, which we have here, and another one is the form, or the div info, which the form is within. So now we set the position of that div relative to the main form here, or relative to our image, and we float it to the left. So we basically tell it to stay to the left, so it will stay to the left of the previous div, which is our profile here, to the left, and then we told it to be 10 pixels, to move 10 pixels to the right. So if we refresh it, we'll just see our name, first name, move a little bit to the right by 10 pixels, and we'll see that. We actually do want to move it a lot more than that, so I'm going to say here 45. Let's try 45 and let's see what that will look like. Okay, much better. So next, what we want to do here is, let's go ahead and put other fields. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to put last name, and I'm going to put here an L for last, and that should be text also because they're the same type. So as you see, this here's next to other, but what we want to do here is let's go ahead and format this this field here. So we want the last name to be a little bit maybe farther, so we want to move it a little bit more to the right. So let's go within our CSS, I'm going to type info, and then we're going to type form because our form is within the info section. And let's give the form some properties. So what kind of properties we want to give to the form? Let's go ahead and make the form. We want the form to be so we can set the width here. I'm going to set the width of the form to be 500 pixels, and the height we'll set it to 250 pixels. And I'm going to put border. I'm going to give the form to have borders, and I'm going to give it 1 pixel, solid, and the color. Now let's see our changes here. So we see our border appear around our form. So let's go ahead and make the border the same size as our image picture here, as our profile picture, just so it looks more organized. So let's set it to 200 and rerun it, and you see it adjust to the same size as our image. And you guys can adjust it to the same size as the height of your image. Okay, now let's go back into our style sheet, and under this I'm going to type pound info, which is our section, form, and then within the form we have input. So what I want in our inputs, I want, first of all, I'm going to set the position relative to the form, and then I'm going to go ahead and do the padding. So I wanted the padding to be 5 pixels or 10 pixels all the way around, so up, down, left, right. Now let's see our effect here. Okay, so what did we do wrong here? We applied the padding to our info and not to our form. So we should apply the padding to the form because we want the form to move around. So the padding should be applied up here, and now we see that effect. Okay, now we have first name, last name. So what else do we need here? Let's go ahead and put also we're gonna go ahead and put what else can we put here? So let's put an email, and or maybe let's put a school name that we graduated, and then, or first name, last name, date of birth. Oh no, we didn't know date of birth, so let's do first name, last name, and then for right now let's just put our email and the name of our school. So let's put 2 more fields here. And I'm going to put email and school. Alright, let's go ahead and close our form here, but we want the email to be under, so the BR here means break. So we want the email to be on the next line, and then we want the school name to be on the next line. So let's go ahead and refresh this. As you see here, we have first name, last name, email, email name should be email address, and you guys can put additional information on what you guys wish here. So we have first name, last name, email address, and then school. And so we're going to cut this tutorial short to here, just because we went it's getting long, and in our next tutorial we're going to go ahead and format this. So we're going to basically format the first name, last name, basically make it look nice. So make the padding, so make the last name move a little bit more to the right, you know, space it out, and put additional fields that you guys require here. I can't think of the top of my head right now what else I want to put here, but you guys can put any information that you guys think is relevant or would be relevant to your site. So that's going to be in our next tutorial. We're going to format all of this in our next tutorial. But before we stop here, we put the padding as 10 here. So what happened is, you see our form moved a little bit, or the form moved a little bit, it got a little bit bigger because of the padding. So to get rid of that, we can just simply make the size of our form or the height a little bit smaller. To adjust, that should have been 180 because it was 10 on both sides. Sorry about that. So it should be 180 there, and that should line up the form very nicely. Okay, so now next one we're going to go ahead, and as I mentioned before, we're going to talk about formatting the fields or the inputs within our form here. So thank you for watching this tutorial, guys. I hope you liked it, and stick around for our next tutorial, and we're going to go in more depth in our web designing tutorial. Thank you for watching. Again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, guys, please do that, as it truly means a lot. Thank you.